These are the best mid-game money-making methods in Hypixel Skyblock. Or are they? Well, today I'm going to test them out and see if they're actually any good. Just like I did with end-game money-making methods. I will rate them based on how entertaining, how profitable, and how hard they are. I will also share the recommended setup for each money-making method. So let's get started with the first money-making method, which is burning or fiery Kudra. Both are basically the same, requiring the same gear. For the minimum gear, you will need an Aurora set, a Juju short bow with basic terror set for damage phase, at least 800 magical power, and a blaze pet with attack speed tuners. For clear, you can use a fire veil wand or a Hyperion if you can afford one. The minimum gear should only cost around 1 million coins. For the recommended gear, you will need a Terminator with a golden dragon. Also a Hyperion is needed, and at least 1000 magical power. The entire setup should cost around 4 billion coins. Now, for the actual test, I'm going to do this in Party Finder since I don't have any friends. So, let's get started. Is that a subscribe button? I will definitely buy this, and so should you guys.
One hour later.
Alright, here's the loot I've got from 30 minutes. Keep in mind I did not drop any RNGs, but I've made 40 million coins. 16 million from that is purely from essence, which is guaranteed by the way. If we count the key prices, that's over 60 million coins profit in 1 hour. Considering we've got 2-minute runs, which is so slow for tier 4, I'd give this money making method a 9 out of 10 in entertaining, as it is super fun and fast paced. For profit, it's also a 9 out of 10, considering this method would pay for itself in less than 60 hours of playtime. And finally, in difficulty, I will give it a 4 out of 10, since it's gonna be hard for new players to learn how to do supplies. Thankfully, I have a video for that you can check out. Now for the second money making method, frog running. For this method, the minimum gear requires a Hyperion. If you don't have a Hyperion, you should check my playlist on how I got a Hyperion with different methods. You will also need a Storm set with a Black Cat pet. You will also need around 800 to 1000 magical power. Everything should cost around 3 billion coins. Okay, this is the last run before the 1 hour timer stops. And Diamante, nice. But no handle, Sag. Here is the loot I've got from 1 hour. Only 15 million coins, which is terrible. So, I'm rating this method a 4 out of 10 in entertainment, a 2 out of 10 in profit, since there are a bunch of better methods out there, and for difficulty, an 8 out of 10, since it's pretty easy to do as long as your kata level is high enough. Now for the third method, which is flint mining or resand / mycelium mining. Both of them use the exact same gear, so here we go. The minimum and recommended gear is 3/4 glossy armor with 1 piece of divan, a flint shovel for flint, and a promising shovel for red sand. You also need a snare pet and at least 400 magical power, and any drill would work for the Heart of the Mountain ability. For the equipment, you need titanium equipment and ancient cloak with dwarven hand warmers. The entire setup would cost around 1 billion coins, even less if you buy the cheapest possible drill. Now for the test. Okay, that's enough mining. We just finished the first hour of the test just to realize I had the wrong armor equipped. You're supposed to have 3/4 Divan armor with one piece of mineral armor and snare pit. So I had to redo the test only for 10 minutes this time. And here's the loot I got from the 10 minute, which means in 1 hour I will be making around 20 million coins, which isn't bad considering the setup in its entirety only costs 1 billion coins, including the talisman, the equipments, and the armor itself. My powder is low, so these aren't the maximum rates. I've seen that in Mining Cult, they said that you can make up to 50 million coins an hour mining flint. But for my test, I only made 18 million coins an hour. So based on that, here are my ratings. For enjoyability, it's a 5 out of 10. It's mining. Do I need to say more? For profit, it's a 7 out of 10. It's the cheapest money making method here in our list to get into, and it makes a lot of coins. For difficulty, it's 10 out of 10. The easiest by far. Hold one button and walk around. Now for the final money making method, Master Mode 4. And before you ask, why not M5? Well, because M5 has these fellas that will one-shot low kata players and mid-game players. So I'm gonna skip M5. If you think you can do M5, definitely do it. The gear requirement is full Necron armor with a golden head or a Bonzo mask. You also need a Terminator and a Hyperion. For the pet, it's either a G-Drag if you're Archer, or a baby Yeti. You need at least 1000 magical power, and for utility items you need a gyro wand and ice spray wand. The cost would be over 5 billion coins. It is by far the most expensive money making method on the list. And before I continue, I would recommend playing tank or berserk or healer in M4, since those are the ones that cost the least coins and don't require actually dealing a lot of damage. Now for the test. In the first hour, I got 2 Master Stars, plus a few RNGs, which is 50 million coins in profit. I got extremely lucky, so don't expect this to happen every time. Now for the ratings. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 in enjoyability. It is chaotic but fairly fun. For profit, it's 8 out of 10. 50 million coins per hour is pretty good. For difficulty, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's very difficult for low kata players and people who don't understand what exactly is going on. So I will recommend to check a guide or a tutorial on how to do Master Mode 4 before trying to do it. It will make it a lot easier on you and on your grind. There are links to the guides I talked about, and you can find them in the description. Also, join my Discord server for my mod list and texture pack. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.